Decided we did not want to take tax dollars back for transportation. We would have to add 40 cents a gallon on fuel just to meet the demands of our roads right now. There's no way we can do that. So we have to get those federal dollars back. There are dollars. We got to get them back.
Right.
Well, we got to get them back without the strings.
Right.
I mean, that's why Trump was elected. He was telling us he was going to give us our dollars back in block grants, and that's what we need. If we can get our education dollars back, if we can get our road dollars back, if we can get our health and welfare dollars back without strings, I don't even care if it's less. We can do better than we can with the strings on right now.
Absolutely.
Transportation dollars, we've got to pay Davis-Bacon wages for contractors that are almost twice or three times what we normally pay to build a road. Then give me 2/3 of what you would normally give me, and I'll build the road cheaper and better.
Right.
With those strings.
We're live on Redoubt News. Would you like to make an introduction here?
I'm Marv Hagedorn. I'm the senator from District 14. I've been in the Senate for 6 years. I was in the House for 6 years. Before that, I was appointed. I retired from the Navy 24 years ago. I did intelligence, special operations, and I'm running for lieutenant governor. And I'm running for lieutenant governor because titles all my life, so I really don't care about titles. I don't do it for the money. But Idaho is facing the biggest set of elections that we've had in our generation. We're going to have a huge turnover in the Senate, the House, new governor, new treasurer, a whole bunch of county commissioners, everything. And my job is. I can't tell who's going to win. It's a horse race. And I know them all. I've worked with Raul. He and I sat next to each other in the legislature for 4 years. I've worked with Brad. He and I did gun bills together when he was over in the Senate and I was in the House. I've gotten to know Tommy on the road. They all bring things to the game, and they all carry a little baggage. My job is to make them successful. I can't call it. I don't know who's going to get elected. So,
I was just thinking about wondering who you thought might be. I haven't seen anybody really stand out.
it's a horse race. It's a horse race. Like I said, everybody has got pros and cons. So it's all going to depend on who gets out the vote the best, in my opinion. And everybody on the down ticket is going to. We're going to elect everybody on the down ticket, whoever gets the vote out the best.
Well, what I'd like to see, honestly, is somebody get elected who's got background. You'll stand up against any group that violates anybody's constitutional rights. That's who they're responsible for.
Right.
And for us citizens. And if they don't have backbone, if they can't bother to do that, then they don't belong being my government.
I agree.
That's all I think.
I agree.
They cannot give whatsoever.
I tell you, I have seen all three of these guys that I've been with. I've seen them all show some backbone, and I've seen them all get a little wishy on some other things. Right? I mean, depends on the issue that you've got before you. I mean, the fact of the matter is, nothing gets forced through the Idaho legislature. Nothing gets forced through the Idaho government. You got this magic formula of 36, 18, and 1. You got 36 members of the House you got to convince you want to pass a bill. You got 18 members of the Senate you got to convince if you want to pass a bill. And you got the governor that's got to be on board. So nothing radical will ever happen. And that's the way the system is designed. So what you have to do is take slow bites at a time to get to where you want to go. And if you want to be there to do that, you gotta take those slow bites. You gotta be willing to take those slow bites. Otherwise, you're going to be a short-termer in either the House or the Senate.
Agreed. So you hear that, Idaho? That means you need to elect the right people.
That's right.
For every district.
And everybody needs to get out to vote. That's critical. We spent many years of our lives protecting your rights to vote, and it saddens me that we have such low vote. That's not why I spent 20 years in the Navy, traveling all around the world, living in snow caves and other crap, so you could blow out voting. So you got to get out there and do it.
I mean, that's the truth. Everybody needs to take advantage of that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
We'll let you go around and talk with other people.
Yeah, good.
So,
Good, how are you? Oh, hi, Larry. Nice to see you.
hi, gentlemen.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Tim Kastner.
John Alexander.
Good to meet you. I moved to Kellogg, yeah. So, yeah, I like it. Before I was in Idaho, I lived in Truckee.
Where did Mike go?
Truckee is. Yeah,
Right there.
it's really similar to Kellogg. I didn't realize how
Good. So we got you live here on Redoubt News. Anything you'd like to say here?
I'm abstaining. I don't want to speak for Luke, and I don't want to get fired.
All right.
If I do.
Appreciate it.
He's over there. Hey, I'll play it safe.
Hello, Michael. Hi, how are you doing?
You know, Nick? Luke Alex,
I'll walk around here just a little bit.
So the way that it looks.
Well, we're live on Redoubt News. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. We had a fun interview the other day.
Absolutely.
We're here in Shoshone County. We're having a good time. We're spreading our message. So many of the candidates are here, but this is what it's all about. We want to look into all the candidates, do your homework, get informed, vote not based on personality, but who best reflects your beliefs, who's going to do the best job for you in Washington. I hope you'll investigate us. Michael Snyder, visit michaelsnyderforcongress.com. Compare us to the other candidates. See what you think. Go in with an open mind. That's all I can ask.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Also, real short drive for you, hey?
Yeah, I just got back a little while ago. Like you said, Sam. I had my call.
Sure. Let's see. You want to talk to candidates? Okay, let's
My wife just got back.
Dave Leroy over here. Well, Dave's talking to a couple of guys.
Okay, which one?
Dave Leroy is the tall. Here, come on over here. Looking for candidates for a quick remark. How are you,
So
sir?
this is Dave Leroy.
Yeah,
Indeed it is.
Nice to meet you. I'm John Alexander,
Hi, Big
and
John.
I'm also captain of the U.S. militia here, and also live for Redoubt News.
Well, good.
Anything you'd like to say here today?
Well, I would. I really appreciate the opportunity to be back in my native North Idaho. I grew up in Lewiston, got a business degree and a law degree from the University of Idaho, and have enjoyed the opportunity to serve as Attorney General and Lieutenant Governor from North Idaho, representing North Idaho. So it's great to be back. Your military garb reminds me that my dad was a military man who lied about his age and got into World War I, stayed in through World War II, and was an early Army Air Corps aviator. So I salute you and other military people, and it's good to be home in North Idaho.
Well, appreciate having you down here tonight.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And don't forget to vote a couple times for Congress.
Definitely will. Thank you.
How are you doing?
Good. Nancy's looking for you.
Yeah?
She's over here in the corner, so she's how was your steering speech?
Oh,
I had to sneak out.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a real positive response. We got some new voters. I might have stolen a couple of yours. So.
You know what to do.
No, you know.
Those things don't quite that long. You end up with more candidates and supporters who are not
Yeah, oh, it's true. It went a little long. But that's all right. We only have a few more after this. Ready for our race. In our neck of the woods, honor and boundary. Hopefully so. Hopefully we'll get a lot of people out. It's our home territory. We got to put on a good show. So, yeah. I thought your speech today was one of your stronger ones. I love the story about coming out of the sky, and that got my attention. So, you know, a lot of the speeches I kind of like lost my attention. I'll be honest. We were at Ben County Lincoln Day earlier today. A lot of the speeches I was kind of like snoozeville, but Dave's was very good. I enjoyed Dave's.
Well, I ran for governor in 1986, and I always try to give a little different speech every time I speak. I had a reporter traveling with me in Idaho Falls in that race, and we had a very full day of receptions, luncheons, dinners. And so when I was traveling with the reporter, he challenged me to give a different speech each and every time that I spoke that day. So by actual count, we had 25 speeches, and they were all different. So that's an art form.
Well, Dave, we've been doing live interviews with a lot of the different candidates. Did you have a problem with Redoubt News doing a live interview with you down the road here?
Oh, no, not at all.
So I'd definitely like to get your card, set up a time.
No, I'd like that a lot. And I, as a former Attorney General and former prosecutor, 9 years in law enforcement, feel very strongly about some of our core constitutional principles, like the right to bear arms, and of course freedom of speech and freedom of assembly and the other sorts of things.
Well, here in North Idaho, as we know, the right to bear arms is a big concern of Idaho. And with all the new gun laws they're trying to push on North Idaho, as well as the rest of the country, it's gotten to be quite concerning.
Well, with all of the situations we've had here most recently, we can decide the fact that we have core constitutional principles, and when we have people who are emotionally reacting to these situations and tragedies in schools, we can't lose sight of both protecting the core Constitution and trying to fashion remedies such as hardening our schools or working on mental health issues that are actually going to help prevent these issues.
Absolutely.
But simply limiting the right to keep and bear arms is neither constitutional nor will it be effective in preventing these tragedies.
Would you support putting armed security in schools here in Idaho?
Certainly. That's a constitutional decision, and of course, or a congressional decision. That would be something that I would prefer to have our local school districts and our local teachers and principals decide.
Absolutely.
But certainly, one component of safer schools may well be arming teachers who are trained and who wish to be armed, or arming the doors with the proper security guards, law enforcement training, or ex-military. There is a school district in Garden Valley in southern Idaho where the sheriff's office is 30 to 40 minutes away, and they for years have had armed teachers and armed security inside the building, and of course have thusly had no incidents. So it needs to be made on a building by building, teacher by teacher, principal by principal, and district by district decision. But arming people inside the building who are properly trained is certainly one very viable option to increase safety for our children.
Absolutely. So that's one of our biggest concerns, is the safety of our children, and it should be all of Americans.
Well, I think we can get there, and we need to continue to be committed. Part of the interesting facts that we've seen in both Florida and in Maryland are that they have been textbook examples of how our current systems, had they been operating properly, would have prevented incidents, and because they did not work properly, contributed to these incidents. When you have law enforcement officers that fail to react, when you have teachers that fail to follow through in reporting problematic students, where you fail to intervene timely in troubled youth, all of those things contributed to these issues and these tragedies. And so the systems that we do have need to work, but we can improve those, we can strengthen those.
Oh, listen, Dave, much appreciate taking time out to talk to us today.
It's a pleasure to be with you, and a pleasure to be participating directly live. Thanks.
Okay.
Remember to vote Leroy for the kind.
We'll be looking forward to our live interview with you.
Good.
Thank you.
Call.
Thank you.
Heck of a cameraman, I'm sure.
I tried. I tried to be real steady.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, their questions were what he said. He was running. They want to know what the meeting is, as a Republican Party.
For those of you wanting to know what this meeting is, this is a Republican Party meeting over in Shoshone County, Idaho. Hi guys.
Are you filming us?
Yes, I'm here with Redoubt News.
Nobody knows who Redoubt is.
I don't think so.
Everybody knows who Redoubt is. This is my husband, Matt.
Matt?
Yeah.
All right. And I'm John Alexander.
Hi, Sherry and the Parkers.
I appreciate you guys being here.
Likewise.
Thank you.
My father was in the Navy first, moved around a lot, then eventually settled on the East Coast of the high school out there and undergraduate at the University of Virginia, then down to Florida for law school, then DC to work, then out near Seattle, then last coming up on 7 years here in Idaho. So
What's that?
I was busier than you.
No, I was busier than you. That work?
As you know, you asked the guy himself.
I'm going to find out who these guys are over here. Hi guys. So I'm here with Redoubt News here tonight. Anything you'd like to say?
Pleased to be here.
Yes. Well, Mark Hagedorn, Lieutenant Governor. Go to markhagedorn.com and find out all about him.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Want to say hi? Hey, try out. Why don't you film for a few?
Oh, I gotta walk right over there real quick. I was gonna walk to the gas station.
I think I'll sit down for a minute. I'm standing up away.
Okay.
So how far away do you all?
Hey, John, I'm right here.
Oh, so you're super close.
Hey, John, you're right. We're just gonna walk right over there.
All right.
I'm Chuck Rich. We met before.
Yes, Chuck.
Yeah, and
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Now you reorganized it here or something for the battalion.
For the U.S. militia?
Yeah, I remember. That's why I stuck in that daggone locker for a while. I'm getting a little long in the tooth, but 23 years in the military, pretty well.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I'll be able to help out at least as far as logistics and a few, tips, so forth and so on.
Well, you guys are live on Redoubt News right now.
Oh, you're on Redoubt? Outstanding. I didn't know that. Yeah.
So say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. It's good seeing you. I'm glad you're over here.
You bet. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And then since then, I've held spots in community organizations and then my
this would be the first like
So I've already interviewed these guys. I don't see them around.
Did you graduate?
I graduated.
So you want to go to the courthouse?
Mark's right here to see Jackie.
Vicky.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm live reporting for Redoubt News.
Okay, I'm Vicky McIntyre, running for state treasurer.
For state treasurer?
Yes, sir.
Anything you would like to say, Vicki?
Well, I just think that I'm the most qualified candidate for the state treasurer's office. I currently am the Ada County treasurer, and I've got 7 years of experience doing direct investment for the taxpayers of Ada County, and I'd like to do it for the rest of the state.
Well, we're glad to have you down here.
Thank you.
Thank you. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. John Alexander.
Cornell.
Anything you'd like to say tonight?
I'm nobody.
You're nobody. So you're just here to be part of the crowd.
I'm the legislative district chair for this district.
Okay. Well, I appreciate having you come down. Thank you.
I'm from San.
I've already kind of interviewed 3 of them, but...
Is it live?
Yeah. Not too many's here yet. I don't see them.
There's not many candidates here that...
No, there's not.
Yeah.
And sometimes I try to explain to people, how the Lord led me to enter this race, and sometimes it's hard to explain because, it's just one of those personal things. Your wife was telling me about how you felt just drawn to Wallace. And now, look now, you found a wife here, and, and things are going great for you here, so...
Yep. Well,
God works in mysterious ways.
That's right. I've got the greatest wife in the world. It's my wife, Joanne.
Amen.
Hi.
So I'm not seeing too many of the other candidates here. I've already interviewed.
Not yet. Some of them will show up more toward the last minute, but not too many kids here tonight. But that's okay. That's okay. More talking time for us. Yeah, some of the other Lincoln days have been much bigger, like 300 people, very, very large. And so this is really the smallest one we've been to. But it'll be nice because it's nice and small and intimate. That's nice. So.
Yeah, I thought there'd be more. Carol must have changed her mind and had something come up.
I gotta get a picture of all the stickers on her back. I gotta get a picture of all the stickers on her back.
I was going to say, you could have got the family argument earlier, on who did the most work.
Who did the most work?
I think I did. He thinks I did.
Today, I said, well, I'm leaving, and I'll see you on Thursday. It's tough on them, but I say.
All right. Well, we're going to be waiting for candidates to come in. Hopefully, some more show up here shortly.
But it'll be a little different. It'll be
life is good again.
It'll be quite as crazy.
Take over filming for a minute. Go around and question people.
What's that?
You can question any of them that you want.
Oh yeah, I wonder who's who.
Which one?
Yeah. She's still there? Still run the store?
How you doing?
We collect about, I bill 577.
I've been riding that.
Joe, I have a question for you. What do you think about some recent spending bills right now? Yeah. Devastating.
How we doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Oh yeah. Always.
Always?
Always. Senator Carl, huh? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm Travis with the U.S. Militia here in Shoshone County.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Were you here a couple of years ago? It seems like I've met you before somewhere.
Yeah, I'm actually, you know what? I might have showed up to it a bit. But yeah, I've been here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, good for you.
So you're one of our senators for Idaho here?
Well, from this district, actually, 7.
7. I know.
Yeah, I've been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Trying to learn some new stuff.
Nice. So you've only been doing this a couple of years?
Yeah.
That's probably good. That means you're not as corrupt.
I don't want to be doing corrupt. I kind of see it as a public service duty to do what I can for a while, and then run me something else. Let somebody else step up.
Right. All right. So are you very constitutional? Would you consider yourself? Or?
I do, and I'm, we have a rating system in the Senate. I'm the 4th most conservative senator in the state. So that's upper end.
Right.
So, yeah, I really believe in the Constitution and what I'm trying to do and keep this country what it was and what it is.
Right. Are you pro-militias?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Good. Yes. We're actually an open one. We're a real one. We're not. Yeah, we're the 79th Battalion.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, based out of Shoshone County here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and we're an open one. Our meetings are open to the public. You're always welcome to drop by.
Sure.
We do all the things militias do.
Yeah.
Sometimes interviewing potential senators and congressmen, and
there you go.
Other times training.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're shoveling some old lady's roof off that can't afford to have somebody do it for her.
Yeah, there you go. So now are you raised here?
No, I've been here actually a big chunk of my life. I'm originally from back east in Connecticut.
Oh, are you? Wow.
Yeah, but I've been all over the country, traveled around and worked a lot too.
Sure. Well, I'm a cow guy. I'm from Greensville.
Right.
So I know ranching and trying to learn something about mining, and
right.
Meet with people around town here during the day here today. So a lot of good people up here. They're a lot like the people from where I'm from.
Yeah, I worked a couple of ranches when I was younger.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I also used to live in Montana.
Okay, well you worked on ranches.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real interesting business if you don't want to get rich.
Right. Yeah, but people that go into it for the money are there for the wrong reasons anyway.
Oh, yeah.
That's the part of the problem I feel of our government as a whole, over there in D.C., is they go in there, they make so much wage a year, but then how do they get out of it, being, $10 million richer, $100 million richer? I mean, I understand everybody takes the money, can make some good investments in stocks or whatever, or land or whatever, make some good money, but I mean, it's been pretty blatant for quite a few years now.
And I don't understand that deal, but it's everything I hear about it's bad, so I just try to deal with what I know. That's tough enough for me to keep my arm around. Try to learn about it. So,
right.
But we're not going to get rich in Idaho politics, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's good. It should be public service work. It shouldn't be
right.
Trying to get rich.
Well, and that's all it was when the founders started this government. Somebody would come in for a few years, do their service, and then they would get out, go back to their ranch or whatever they had going on.
Yeah. Or farm or whatever they're doing.
They didn't make a career out of it, politics,
Yeah, that's it. A career politician. We're supposed to be citizen legislators, and that's another advantage. We only meet 3 months of the year, or even less than that.
Right.
70, I think it was 75 days or something this year. Well, that keeps things from being professional.
Right.
And we might not be too good at what we we do, but at least we're kind of normal.
Right.
At least I think.
Oh yeah.
So, whereas the Washington D.C. politicians, they got a different game.
Right.
I don't know their deal, so I don't know much about it, but it doesn't sound good from what I know.
Yeah, well, the thing is that and a lot of people in Idaho feel this way, including myself.
Yeah.
As we're tired of watching everybody start trying to infringe on everybody's rights. It's not. I mean, Idaho is actually not as bad as a lot of states around this country.
No, but we can be better.
We could be better, yes, and we shouldn't have any infringement whatsoever on any of our rights.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be real careful not to trump on somebody's rights, constitutional rights.
Right. And that's a big part of what we stand for.
Yeah. I understand. I get that. And that's why, some of the rating systems for, legislators has to do with how do you help people with their rights.
Yeah. And there needs to be people held accountable when they are violating those rights,
That's right. How are you
doing, John?
Good. How are you doing, Carl?
Doing good. I'm Carl Crabtree.
John Alexander, captain of the militia here.
Oh, good man. Are you with him then?
Yep.
Good deal.
So we're actually filming live with Redoubt News. Did you tell them that?
I forgot, sorry.
You forgot to tell them that?
We're good.
All right.
No problem. We're good.
So we've been trying to get different people running for different positions to meet up with us and have interviews. You know what I mean? We feel that if they got nothing to hide, they shouldn't have a problem answering some questions.
Yeah, well, I tried
if it's what they stand for.
Yeah.
And
tried to answer.
Some people have been reluctant, you know what I mean, to meet up with us.
Oh.
And some people haven't, But the way I feel about it is if they got something to hide on the interview, then why should I vote?
Well, you've been straight with me, so
right. Yeah. Well, and you've been straight with me too, and I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for time. Good luck with what you do.
Thank you.
So would a live interview be possible with you later, at a later date?
Well, sure. We did one here, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm no expert on much. I'm a cow guy, so I try to learn and try to do better at what I'm trying to represent the people.
No, we probably need more cow guys in offices than we do lawyers and politicians.
We're not that sharp, trust me. But no, we just try to do what we think's the best. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. Like anything else. We'll try to keep personal rights. That's a big deal. Government is good at taking rights away, and we're trying to keep that from happening.
Right.
I was telling him they have a rating system on senators, and I'm fourth in the Senate. So maybe not first, but you try to do what you can do. Like as an example, I got my points knocked down because I voted for wolf control. Well, they didn't think that they knocked my points because they voted for killing wolves. But I believe in killing wolves, and just personally, that's the way the people I represent.
Well, how could they knock down your points for that, though, when that's something you believe in? Especially when there's a lot of people that especially live up here who know how dangerous a wolf can be sometimes.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that think that they ought to have the freedom to let them run. And so I don't know. I don't get it, but I try to do what I think is right. It makes sense to me, and I lose my points.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of ranchers that would disagree with them and agree with you on that.
Well, that's kind of the people I know. Anyway. Well, good to visit with you fellas.
Yep, it was great talking.
I guess they're going to feed us here.
Well, appreciate you coming down, Carl.
Yeah, glad to do it. It's like 300 miles. But part of the deal.
That's part of the deal.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good to meet you.
I'm not sure I know. There might be those three.
Yeah, we have turnout. So we got a little turnout. Here you go. Actually, I was pretty disappointed that Crim 2 wasn't there today in San Juan. I was going to interview him.
So it looks like we're getting ready for a dinner here shortly.
How you doing, sir? Looks like they're trying to make you famous here. Tell me your story.
Well, let's see. I work hard. I raise a family up here in North Idaho. I don't like my rights being improved on.
Sounds like 3 good things.
Yeah, I'm part of the U.S. 79th Battalion Militia up here in Shoshone County.
Tell me where you're from and whereabouts you live.
Well, I live right here, outside of Walls, up Old Burke Road.
Were you raised here?
No, I've been here a big chunk of my life in Idaho. But I've been in Montana, I've been in Colorado. I was born in Connecticut.
Wow. East Coast. How'd you come out west?
Well, my parents wanted to work and make money, so we came out west.
You came with Colorado first, then Montana?
Colorado first, then Arizona, then up to north.
And why do you prefer Idaho?
I like it. It's a beautiful country. Good. And you're still halfway free.
Well, I've got a good rights story for you. I occasionally go to the Post Falls gun show to shake hands. And before a politician does that, who's looking for Idaho voters, you always check the license plates in the parking lot.
Right.
And at that show, they're about 50% Idaho and 50% Washington State.
Right.
And so you presume that the mix will be about the same inside. So when you go inside and talk to dealers, they've usually got a sign or a business card so you can tell where they're from. So that helps you select them. But what you find when you shake hands with people in that mix is that gun owners come in 2 kinds. Number one, the people that live in Idaho love their guns and enjoy the right to use them freely and are pretty comfortable about it. And then the second flavor is people from Washington who wish they lived in Idaho to enjoy their guns and appreciate it. And they're very angry about the social climate of all things in the state of Washington, and particularly the governor. They find great disaffection with him. So.
Yeah. No, you know, and the thing is Washington has been treading all over their rights quite a bit, especially lately.
Yeah.
And quite a bit, though, for quite a few years now.
Yeah. Good.
And we don't want that in Idaho.
No, I agree. Well, let me give you a business card or a campaign card. This is my Leroy for Congress card.
Yes.
And what you'll find on the back is that I'm a constitutional conservative. I was formerly a 2-term county prosecutor, formerly Attorney General of Idaho, and in that regard, during the years I was AG, I appeared 3 times before the United States Supreme Court defending our state sovereignty. So
that's great.
Give me a good look at it.
I will.
Good.
Dave, I have an Eric Parker here asking me to bring you on live.
Good.
And to help get our party built. Our elected officials, we have, let's see here, we have our state senator Carl Crabtree present. Our incumbent, 1 state representative, Phil Giddings present. And Paul Shepard was unable to attend tonight. We also have state representative from down south, Christy Perry present. And we have our Secretary of State, Lauren Stenny, present. And also with our party, we have District 7 Central Committee Chair, Cornell Razor, present. And we also have State Senator Mark Hagedorn present. And those running for higher office, running for re-election, and their challengers will be hearing more about a little later in the evening. Again, we thank everyone for showing up. We welcome you to Shoshone County, and for now we'll give a chance to serve our meal, and then in a few minutes we'll get ready to start our program. Thank you.
No.
Okay, they're going to bring some people on live here. And we are live in Wallace, Idaho.
Especially during certain times. But I'll tell you what, I want to give it
I want to help him pull that off.
Pull this off?
Yep. Just unscrew it.
That comes out.
It's loose. Hold this one.
You want this taken off?
No. Maybe adjust this to where this can pull all the way up.
Oh, I got you. So you want to put your phone in there?
Yep.
There you go.
This is high up.
So you got to put your phone in there sideways. Well, you want it upright.
Yeah, we're live.
That's all it goes.
Okay.
Is that all you need? What do you want to do with it?
It's put it back on.
There you go. Move this down.
So I gotta work on other things. This. University of Idaho. I graduated in May. No, English.
But this here you got to pull up.
Right. Maybe you can do it from the back side. Here's what I want to do. Grab one of these out.
Oh, I see.
It didn't help at all. I still one day. It's a good experience.
Here you go. All right. Here.
Wrap that around once.
Let me get it around. There you go. Here, John. I'm going to go up with it.
Thank you.
Maybe like that.
I'm going to adjust this up. There we go.
Huh? Here, let me see.
There we go. Okay, that's going to work.
We're very photogenic. Good way to say But anyway,
It's nice. Thank you. Okay. Are you following me?
No. Can I get you to get a picture of me real quick?
Oh, yeah. How do I do that?
Okay, well, everyone's finishing up their meal. We'll get back on with our program. First of all, we have a special award to be presented to a former member of our Central Committee. We'll call upon State Committeeman Chuck Ritz to present the award.
I'll be there in just a minute. Thank you, James. Back in 2008, 2010, we were fortunate to have in our area here a diligent researcher. She could flat find anything out, and did. If you had something in your closet, she was going to find it. And she would let people know. This year or last, I don't know, maybe 2 years, was it, Priscilla, that they've used our analysis, our analysts, to do work for the Freedom Group down there. There's about 11, 12, 13 really dedicated legislators that are really trying to change it down there. And I'm all for it. You might not like me because I say that, but anybody that rocks the boat, as far as I'm concerned, in government's good people. Because you got to keep them shook up a little bit to make sure that you're getting the right decisions made. Well, this lady has done diligent work, both here and for the group down in Boise. And because of that, they took a poll around the whole state as to who was the best assistant and analyst. And guess who won? Our gal from right here in Shoshone County. And I'll tell you this right now, when I was chairman, if I wanted to know anything, or anybody wanted to know anything, all we had to do was go to Jan and say, what do you think about this? And she come up with an answer. And you better believe that it was 100% true, or she wouldn't be putting it out. So this is an award, yes, from the Freedom Group down in Boise, but believe me, Dan, it's from all of us up here too. So if you will, come on up and see what they got. Ladies and gentlemen, Jan Hignum, one of the best you're ever going to find. You want to say anything? Hold it in your
I
chin.
didn't know this was going to happen.
Yeah, I'll take it.
That's beautiful. I am honored to receive this award. I didn't really even know that it was going to happen. I didn't know I was supposed to go down there. I didn't know anything, but I do know that I love to research, find out what's going on, get down to the nitty-gritty. And when I submit things to legislators and other groups, it's always got links and so that I can prove what it is that I'm saying. You know, research is pretty boring for most people, but I kind of love it. The agencies that I generally do research on, the federal and state ones, they don't really like me much, and my nickname is Honey Badger. I just keep going after them until I get what I want, and usually I do. That's about it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before we go into our candidates, I don't see anyone who's current official not seeking re-election who's present. However, first I would see if, is there anybody from Senator Crapo's office present who'd like to give a statement on his behalf? Is there anyone from Senator Risch's office who'd like to give a statement or report on his behalf? Okay. All right, so we will go into our candidates who are either seeking re-election or seeking election to higher office. We'll start with United States Representative District 1. I don't see Russ Fulcher here. Does he have a representative who wishes to read a statement on his behalf?
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. My name is Tim Castning, and unfortunately, Russ cannot be here tonight. He's catching a 8:30 flight out of the Coeur d'Alene area tonight to get back to Boise and get on with some things tomorrow. But so he asked me to come up here and give you let you know that he couldn't be here. He wanted to be here. But things are going very well for Russ's campaign. Right at the end of the legislature, he was endorsed by 27 of our legislators down in Boise. And some other endorsements, Ted Cruz has come out to endorse Russ, and he's got various other organizations back in Washington, that conservative organizations that's supporting him. And he's also received the endorsement from the Freedom Caucus there in Washington. So things are going real well for him. He's working hard, and as you know, Russ is a very conservative person that will represent us well in Washington, and he would appreciate your vote. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Next, who's filed for United States Representative District 1 is Alex Gallegos. Is he here, or has he sent a representative? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to Nick Henderson. Is Nick Henderson present, or has he sent a representative to speak on his behalf? Okay, hearing no one from Nick Henderson's campaign, David Leroy.
Chairman. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I believe in history, both local and national. And as to local, there was a woman who, for nearly a decade, ran this Lincoln Day named Margaret Gunther. She ran from her hospital bed last year, and unfortunately, Margaret died in June. She was a fabulous woman with a wonderful history, has left her mark in this valley, and I think we should all appreciate what she did for Lincoln Days and the perpetuation of Lincoln here. And I want you to know that Margaret had a dirty little secret for all of we candidates that she brought to town to meet all of the voters. Her dirty little secret was she couldn't vote for any of us. She was a Canadian. And as we learn the lessons of history, and as we appreciate our past, it's important, I think, to note that Lincoln had a bit of a history, and apparently he's still got a history here in the valley. As Nancy and I were driving up the freeway, just before you get to the Osborne exit, off to the right, south of the freeway, partially obscured by a copse of trees, is a billboard with Abraham Lincoln's picture on it, and the words, "A house divided." Are we not in this nation at this moment a bit of a house divided? We've got sanctuary cities, we've got California, a de facto sanctuary of state. Just today, all over the country, we have protests in the streets with young people suggesting that we should somehow truncate one of our significant constitutional rights, almost the same kind of situation that Lincoln faced. And just as Margaret had a dirty little secret, Lincoln, in bringing the country together, at least so far as the Congress of the United States was concerned, had a dirty little secret too. You see, his opposition in the Congress, those who wanted to extend slavery into this territory, had not only seceded from the Union, but the members of Congress, the House of Representatives and the senators who were opposed to Lincoln, also resigned and went home to the South. So Lincoln, unlike Donald Trump, had a Congress with which he could work his will. Our challenge, as we learn the lessons of history today, is that we really need to pick the next member of Congress from the 1st District who has an appreciation of the Constitution, who will, like Lincoln, fight to hold this country together, who will understand our core values such as the right to keep and bear arms, and who will augment the good that a change agent like Donald Trump can do in bringing this country back together. I'm proud to have been your Attorney General. I'm proud to have been Lieutenant Governor. I'm proud to have been Acting Governor of Idaho. It's my great pleasure to be from North Idaho, growing up in Lewiston. My ancestors came here 117 years ago. But I tell you that the most important office you'll choose, with all due respect to those candidates running for governor and everything else, will be that member of Congress from the 1st District of Idaho who could go back and, like Lincoln, pull this country together at a time when we are indeed a house divided. We must emulate the best lessons of history. I would be honored to be your candidate, to be your fighter, to be your congressman, to do exactly that. Thanks for the opportunity to be here, and thanks, Margaret, if you're watching. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Next is filed is Luke Malik. I don't see Luke here tonight, but is there anyone from his campaign who wishes to speak for him? Okay, hearing no one from Luke Malik's campaign, next is Christy Perry.
So if I don't use the mic and stand here, can you all hear me? Is that better? Okay. Well, thank you all for coming this evening. It is wonderful to see you here. And for some of you new faces who have never met me before, my name is Christy Perry, and I'm a Canyon County girl. Actually raised here in Idaho, down there in Canyon County. We grew up in a small town called Middleton. My husband and I both did. And my husband worked with his dad actually and did some custom hay farming down there. And I spent my summers hoeing beets to earn some school clothes. We have learned to work very hard, and we have worked hard for every single thing that we have had. And we don't mind, and we don't want anybody taking an opportunity to take anything from us. Just like many of you, you feel the very same way. We come from those hardworking Christian people, and the one thing that I have never learned is how to give up. So I am the first person actually in my family to actually graduate college. And it took me until I was 40 to do that. I have a bachelor's degree in political science, a master's degree in public administration. I have served this party as a precinct committeeman, and I will be back on the ballot for that again. And I'm also a 4-term representative from the agricultural district there in Canyon County, and get to actually represent the very same town that I grew up in, and it's been an incredible honor. My husband and I are small business owners. We own a gun shop there in Boise, so we know firsthand how important it is to not only support that Second Amendment, because everyone will tell you they support it, but you have to really live that lifestyle and truly understand its importance, and that definitely is something that we do. And because we own that small business, we do know firsthand how much the government is after you. They do want your guns. They want your property. They want your rights. Just yesterday, ATF was in our gun shop trying to hunt down somebody else through the paperwork. So I know how to deal with those federal agencies, and quite frankly, we know kind of how to work around them as well. We've been pretty good about doing that as well. So there in that gun shop, we have learned a lot about what people are interested in, what really matters to them, what they're worried about, and they're all the same concerns that you and I share. It's been a wonderful experience. We know about being that small business owner. We know that taxes are important to keep them low for us. We understand the burden of regulations that are choking our businesses, that are choking our farms, that are choking our entrepreneurs, and that are making it very difficult for your children to be able to succeed. I know many of us sit here in this audience and wonder, what are my children going to do? Are they going to be able to buy a house? Are they going to be able to take over my business? These are valid concerns, and these are things that need to be addressed. We have a country right now that is in disarray, and we have an opportunity at this point, though, to send the person to Congress who has the knowledge, the skills, the ability, and that passion that it takes to be able to stand up for you and represent you and defend your rights from the bureaucrats there in Washington, D.C. So I've come before you here today to ask you to support me. I'd love to be your representative in Congress and be your next congressman, actually, right? So thank you again all for coming tonight. If you can't remember my name by the time all the candidates speak tonight, just remember that I'm the girl with the gun. Thank you again for coming, and please vote Christy Perry for Congress. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up for U.S. Representative District 1 is candidate Michael Snyder.
I need to stand up here as well. Thank you all for coming here tonight. It's great to be in Shoshone County, and my name is Michael Snyder. I'm running for Congress in Idaho's 1st Congressional District. And I was just reflecting in the back as I saw Dave up here tonight, and one of the things I appreciate about Dave, because we go out on the circuit like this, a lot of people give the same speech over and over again, but Dave always changes it up, and I appreciate that so much. And I reflected back to the very beginning of this race, because Dave was the first one to jump in. When Raul Labrador announced he was running for governor, Dave almost immediately announced that he was going to run in this race. And then just a couple days later, I went on the Alex Jones show, and I indicated that I was going to jump into this race as well. And so I remember sitting in Dave's office not too long ago, and we reminisced that in the beginning it was just me and him. And so with a small, intimate gathering tonight, and me and Dave here, I just want to express, and I'm going to do something really unusual. I'm going to express my appreciation to Dave. As Dave, you've run a classy campaign. My respect for you has gone up throughout this process. And that's unusual in a campaign, because usually when you're running against somebody else, you kind of like, oh, they're the enemy, rah, you know. And but with Dave, I hope that you call me a friend, because I would like to call you a friend. Thank you for the classic campaign you're running. I also would like to thank Christy. Christy, you've run a good campaign, good clean campaign so far. Thank you, even though I've taken a couple shots at you at times, and I know I'm feel a little bit bad about that, but you've run a good campaign.
But
so
be careful, because I do carry a gun.
You've got all the guns, so I appreciate Christy as well. But tonight, in the end, we've got 7 people running. You're going to have to choose someone to represent you in Washington. And this week, Congress has made all kinds of headlines all over America, right? Rush Limbaugh's talking all about the $1.3 trillion omnibus spending bill that just went through Congress, rushed through its 2,232 pages. Members of Congress were given less than 24 hours to read it before they were expected to vote on it. And if you look at the bill, as we've been able to so far, well, it fully funds Planned Parenthood. There's all kinds of liberal priorities in there, right? But as far as conservative priorities, well, military got a boost in spending, but other than that, conservative priorities were ignored. And so conservatives all over the country are looking at this, they're outraged, and they're calling into people like Rush Limbaugh. What's going on? Rush Limbaugh and conservative commentators, Fox News, everyone's all upset about this bill. And so what I was hoping, or earlier today we were in Benoit County, and 5 of the candidates in this race spoke, and I really wish at least one of the other candidates would have gotten up and said, okay, this is the bill that just went through Congress, it's people all over America are talking about this, this is how I would have voted on it. I wish one of the other candidates would have said that, because that's what you guys want. You guys want a straight shooter who's just going to tell you what they're going to do once they go to Congress. And so what I did in Benoit County, I'll do here tonight. I'll tell you exactly how I would have voted on that bill, and I would have voted no. In fact, I would have voted a resounding no, because it's a horrible bill. But I would just encourage all my opponents, and I'm sure some will watch this later, just tell the people what you're going to do when you go to Washington. Whether let your yes be yes, your no be no. Tell people how you would have voted in that bill to give them some idea of what kind of member of Congress you're going to be, because the people deserve to know, especially on a bill that important. Just tell them, please. All right, well, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. Like I said, my name is Michael Snyder. I'm from Bonners Ferry. And no one ever runs for anything important from Bonners Ferry, right? Nobody ever runs for Congress or governor or anything really big from Bonners Ferry. In fact, it's about as far from the center of Idaho's political universe as you can possibly get and still be in the state. So, but I'm from Bonners Ferry, and I have the gall to run for Congress. And at first, all the experts down in Boise and kind of in the political establishment said, well, Michael, we kind of like you, but you have no shot. We've got some more established politicians running. You don't have a prayer. Well, I said, well, we have some name recognition, but yeah, we're trailing the other guys in name recognition, but we're going to catch up. So we did start to catch up. And then later on the Lincoln Day circuit, some of you heard me say, I said, well, we're getting up there, but soon we will catch the front runners in name recognition. Now we've caught the front runners in name recognition. And now I'll tell you that soon we will have the highest name recognition in the state, because we've got the best team that's working the hardest, getting our name out there. And very shortly we will have the most name recognition of any candidate in this race. And if that's the case on May 15th, we will win this race. And so I know a lot of you, because we're kind of the new kid on the block, aren't super familiar. But this is, if you look at our brochure, I'm married to my wife. Her name's Miranda. And we've got a 3-year-old daughter named Atara. She just turned 3. And my wife is now expecting. We're going to have another child in July. So it'll be right in the middle of the general election. So I say, when God puts a lot on your plate, He puts a lot on your plate. But very quickly, and I know we have more speakers to get to, so very quickly, let me just share a couple things with that, about me with you. Number one, I'm conservative. In fact, even the Coeur d'Alene Press says I'm the most conservative candidate in this race. But don't take their word for it. Get one of our brochures or go to our website, michaelsnyderforcongress.com, and very carefully compare what we believe with the other guys. And when you do, you come to the same conclusion that everybody else has come to. In fact, I have had one voter, not one voter throughout this entire process has ever come to me after doing this comparison and said, you know what, Michael, I really think that one of the other candidates is more conservative. No voter has ever done that, because we are the most conservative campaign. Another thing you need to know about me is that I'm a Christian. I'm a born-again, Bible-believing Christian. I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and I want to take Christian values back to Washington, D.C. Because we're not just in a political battle, guys. We are in a spiritual battle. And if we continue on the path that we're on, it's a path where 60 million children have already been killed in America's abortion mills. We're $21 trillion in debt. And everything else I talk about on the brochure and on the website, it's a path to national suicide. But if we turn back to God, back to our founding values, maybe we can turn this thing around. And that's the third thing you all need to know about me, is that I believe in the U.S. Constitution. And what we have in Washington, D.C. today does not look anything like what we see in the U.S. Constitution. So I would submit to you that we can't afford politics as usual. We can't afford a professional politician that's going to play political games and try not to offend anyone. We need to send a fighter to Washington, D.C. that's going to stand up to the leadership of both parties, Democrat and Republican, and say, no, we're not going to do it that way anymore. We're going to go and we're going to take our government back, restore our constitutional republic, because that is what all of us want. And so we're sick and tired of professional politicians, and we want to change. So guys, check us out. If you're not familiar with us, Michael Snyder for Congress, michaelsnyderforcongress.com. You've got a lot of choices coming up on May 15th. But I would submit to you, if you study very carefully and you look at all the choices, you'll come to the conclusion that so many others across the state are. This is why we are the campaign with the momentum that it's time for a change and it's time for fresh leadership. Michael Snyder for Congress. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for coming. Next up, we'll hear from our candidates for governor. I don't see Tommy Yalquist here. Do we have a representative from Tommy Yalquist campaign who'd like to read a statement on his behalf? Okay, hearing none. Harley Brown isn't here. Did he send a statement up with anyone to speak on his behalf? Okay, don't have anything from Harley. Dalton Kennedy. I don't know him as Dalton Kennedy or anyone from his campaign here. Okay, do we have anyone from Raul Labrador's campaign who'd like to read a statement on his behalf? Hey, John.
Thank you, James. Thank you all for coming. My name is John Cross. I'm a volunteer with the Labrador for Governor campaign. I just want to start off by saying most of you probably are aware of Raul Labrador and his record since he's been serving in Congress for several years. He is one of the founding members of the Freedom Caucus, and being a member of the Freedom Caucus and being a conservative, I want to answer Michael's question. We don't have to speculate about how Raul voted on the spending bill. He voted no. So he's the guy that has the guts to do what needs to be done as a conservative, and he does it in Congress, he will do it as your governor. So I just want to ask that you all remember that Labrador is the most conservative, I believe, candidate in the race for governor, and he's asking for your support and your vote. So if you wish to help with the campaign, you can go to RaulLabrador.com and study more about Raul and sign up to help any way you can. We are looking for people for phone banks and for door knocking. So thank you very much, and vote for Raul.
Hey, thank you. Do we have someone from Brad Little's campaign who'd like to make a statement on his behalf?
Pardon me. Hi everybody, my name is Nate Fisher. I'm on staff with the Brad Little for Governor campaign. I live in Coeur d'Alene and cover the 10 northern counties for the campaign. Brad wanted me to express his sympathies for not being able to be with you tonight, but did send me up with a couple thoughts that I want to share with you real quick. So for anyone that may not have met Brad just yet, Brad's a third-generation rancher in Idahoan. He's owned small businesses and has been our lieutenant governor since 2009. In his time as our lieutenant governor, he has focused primarily on education and economic opportunity, and that's something that he wants to continue when in the governor's office. Brad is very fond of saying that as the governor, he would look at every issue through one lens, and that being how can we keep our kids and grandkids in the state of Idaho, and how can we entice those who have left to come back. And he really believes that the key focus to that is, again, through education and economic opportunity. He's the only one in this race that has released a comprehensive and extensive education plan, and economic growth is something that he's passionate about and has been working on for the last little while. Currently Idaho has some of the highest wage growth in the nation. We're one of the fastest growing states in the nation, and we have one of the fastest growing economies in the nation. And that's due in part to all of you for electing good Republican leaders of this state, and to the leadership of folks in Idaho. So give yourselves credit and give our leaders credit for that. Anyone that's interested in getting involved in the campaign, please check out our website, bradlittleforidaho.com. Come see me after this. If there's any questions that you have, if there's anything that I can do for you, come find me. Thank you all very much.
Hey, thank you. I know Lisa Marie actually gave me a call, said she wouldn't be able to make it tonight. Did she send a statement with anyone that anyone would like to read? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on. I don't see Steve Pankey here. Does he have a representative here, or did he send a statement with anyone who'd like to read a comment on his behalf? Okay, moving on to Lieutenant Governor. We have Rebecca Arnold, or anyone on her behalf. Okay, hearing nothing from her campaign. Next is Marv Hagedorn.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thanks for putting on this great event. One of the things, I'll try and keep this kind of short. One of the very first things that anybody ever asked me about the Lieutenant Governor is, what the heck's he do? Because most people don't recognize that Lieutenant Governor in the Constitution has two basic duties. One is to preside over the Senate and make sure that you follow the rules, that everyone is treated appropriately. We use Mason's Manual and the Senate rules to make sure that everyone gets a fair chance at speaking and providing their bills on the floor. The second duty, and that's a 3-month-long period roughly until we get the budgets balanced. The second duty is to stand in for the governor when the governor goes out of town. Not anything to do with legislation. So it's interesting to move from the legislature, where I know I've worked on almost 200 bills in the legislature, to go to a job where I won't be doing legislation anymore. My job will now be to help whoever we elect as governor, help that person be successful. I can't tell you who that's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be Brad or Raul or Tommy. No idea. Or Lisa Marie or whoever else is in the race. Harley Brown. I don't know. But that's the duty of the Lieutenant Governor. Other duties that Lieutenant Governor has picked up traditionally have been do some economic development, help sell Idaho goods and services outside the state, help maybe bring in some businesses and create some jobs. Let me tell you about me. I've never hired anybody, number one, who I don't know and I don't understand what their background is. I grew up in Potlatch, or just outside of Potlatch on a little farm. I spent a number of hours on a D4 pulling a disc all around the Palouse Hills. I spent a number of hours throwing hay bales on the back of a truck. I worked in the lumber mill, and that was what incentivized me to join the Navy. I didn't have enough money to go to college. We would stand around in the evening when a chain broke in the mill and throw knots at each other, and that was fun. And half the people were missing 1 or 2 or 3 fingers. And I'm thinking, this might not be a career choice for me. I think I can do better. And so I joined the Navy, and I was fortunate. I enlisted. I got into the intelligence business, and I spent 14 years as an enlisted man. I received a field commission. I was a chief warrant officer, and I did a number of things in the intelligence world, and I started a special operations team out of Alaska as my last duty. I retired and I came home. And there wasn't much work in northern Idaho. The Clinton administration had really shut down logging and shut down a whole lot of stuff. So I ended up going down to what Mom and Dad still call the flatlands of Idaho, down in Boise. My wife Patty and I have lived down there for going on 24 years. While we were down there, I joined the semiconductor industry business, and I grew one of their P&Ls from $7 million a year to $100 million a year. The biggest contract I ever personally negotiated was a $200 million contract around the world, and I had to fly around the world before internet abilities in 4 days to get all the Micron fabs to sign this contract. I started my own business. I ran my own business for quite a number of years, importing equipment from Asia. Tractors, dozers, excavators, all kinds of things, and set up a retail market all over the U.S. Was doing about $300 million a year then. The governor reached out to me in 2007 when we had a shakeup in our district and asked me if I wanted to fill a seat that was empty in the legislature in 2007. I said, yes, sir, I'll do it. And this gentleman right here, Lawrence Denny, gave me the oath of office on the first Thursday of the first week of the Senate, or of the House of Representatives in 2007. Anyway, that was a special day for me. I spent 6 years in the House. I spent 6 years in the Senate, and now we're facing one of the greatest turnovers in our history, in our generation of elected officials. We're looking at a new governor, a new lieutenant governor, a new treasurer. I think the superintendent of schools has got a race on our hands. We're looking at a huge turnover in the House and huge turnover in the Senate. We're going to have a lot of new leaders. Idaho is the fastest growing state in the nation. We've got the lowest unemployment rate in our history. Our wages are growing at impressive rates, almost faster than any other state in the nation. My job is to keep that train on the tracks. Help that new lieutenant, or help that new governor keep that train going down the tracks in the same direction. We've got to continue to manage the growth in Idaho. We've got to continue to lower our taxes. I was actually the first one to lower your income tax. I wrote the bill 3 years in a row when I was in the House to lower our income taxes from 7.8% and 7.6% to 7.4%. And I finally got the governor on board, and we made that happen in 2010. We just, as you all know, we did that again, moving it down now to below 7% for income taxes. We've got to continue that. That's what's drawing more jobs and more people to Idaho. Economic development, I do that already. I brought the first medical school to Idaho a couple of years ago down to Meridian. This school was going to be grown in Montana. I called them up because they weren't happy, and I said, would you guys consider coming to Idaho? They came over, and 30 days later, we had a public-private contract done that was going to allow them to build a $100 million building in Meridian. They have a $5 million payroll right now. Their first class doesn't start until this fall. That adds, just of their income tax, $340,000 to the general fund. They're paying the state to lease ground that they've built their building on. They're paying the state to lease labs out of our universities, and they're spending $3 million in scholarships for Idaho students that are going to become doctors. That was a good deal. I did that in 30 days. I'm here to help our state continue to grow, manage that growth, and keep us on the right track. I'm the only candidate who's got a hunting license, who's hunted in this state for over 45 years. I'm the only candidate that's a veteran. I've got a perfect pro-life score, and I'm conservative. I need your help in May 15th. Please go to my website, marvhagedorn.com, pick up one of these on your table, and give me a call. I need your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see Janice McGee in here tonight, but is there someone who wants to speak on behalf of her campaign?
Pardon me if I wander around a bit. Janice couldn't be here tonight. She's very sorry for that. I've known her since about her first year in Congress from 2002, only through email. I contacted her a number of times. And what I want to characterize her is this. Many of you in here probably understand the English language. I hope you do. You know what a conjunction is? The word but is a conjunction. It's a joining conjunction. Janet has conjunctivitis. When she says she's pro-life, she doesn't say, I'm pro-life, but. When she says she's pro-Second Amendment, and I hate to hear this all the time, well, I believe in the Second Amendment, but Janet believes in the Second Amendment. When some of her employees at one of her businesses were worried about some of the things that are going on in this community, in this world, she paid for them to get training and have the ability to defend themselves should they need to. She got right in the trenches and did what was necessary. She'll do the same thing as Lieutenant Governor. When Janet says she believes in lowering taxes, she doesn't say but. She doesn't add that word. She believes that taxes, the money left in your pocket, is invested in Idaho and will result in more jobs, more prosperity for you, so that you can put the money where you want to do with it. You can do what you want with that money. When she says she's going to bring jobs and prosperity to her community, I'm holding this up so you can see her picture. You can just forget about me. She doesn't say, I want to bring jobs and prosperity to your community, but she wants to free up small business so that they can grow the way Idaho wants small businesses to grow. When she says that she believes in local control of education, even though that word is and it's probably pretty smart to use in terms of education, she doesn't use it there. She believes in sending the control back to the communities where education occurs. I've talked to her about health care. She's talked about the ability for Idahoans to buy their health care across state lines. Now that's a qualified statement, and you'd have to talk with her for more about that, but she's got a plan. She understands, she gets it when she talks about good stewardship of Idaho land. She knows that if we are given the opportunity, and there I use that word but, pardon me, she wouldn't have. She knows that if we are given the opportunity to maintain those lands, the prosperity from those lands would pay the way for conserving and using those lands. I think that you can't vote for anybody better than Janice McGeehan, and I won't say but, just vote for Janice McGeehan. JaniceForIdaho.com. Her phone number is on her card. She doesn't mind being called. When she was in office as a legislator, when I would email her, she responded. And she didn't even know who I was. And I was 500 miles away. She will do the job for Idaho that needs to be done. Janice McGeehan for Lieutenant Governor.
Okay, thanks. I don't see Bob Nonini here tonight. Does anyone want to make a statement on behalf of his campaign? Okay, move on. I don't see Kelly Packer here tonight. Does anyone wish to make a statement on behalf of her campaign? Okay, and doesn't look like Steve Yates made it. Does anyone care to make a statement on behalf of his campaign? Yes, we'll move on to the next office, Secretary of State. We'll hear from Lawrence Deng.
Well, thank you. I will be brief because I don't have a primary opponent. I do have a couple of Democrats that are challenging, and it's really odd to have a Democratic primary for a statewide race, but we have several of them this time around, so that's good. I first want to introduce my wife, and I think most everyone here knows my wife, Donna. And I would just like a show of hands of how many people are here who are not with some candidate or some campaign. I sat at the right table. So, well, I want to thank everyone from Shoshone County for all the help and for allowing me for the last 3+ years to be your Secretary of State and to do the jobs that entails, and I really enjoy the job, and I thank you for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to another term, and a few weeks ago, or right after the last election, you heard rumors that the Russians had tried to hack into the election process in 21 different states. Well, they tried to probe 21 different states. They were successful in getting into one state, supposedly. And I asked a person from the Department of Homeland Security, I said, so, was Idaho one of those states? And I was told, we can't tell you, that's classified information. So I said, well, did you notify the states that were attempted to be hacked? And they said, yes, we did. And I said, so if I wasn't notified, then I can assume that Idaho wasn't one of those states. You know, this is typical of what the federal government does to us. Also, you know, so that they could tell us that classified information, they've started a program to get security clearance for all the secretaries of state across the country. And I filled out this 127-page application for a security clearance. I submitted it last August. I still haven't heard back. But I was on a conference call the other day with representatives from DHS, and I said, so when I get this security clearance, who will I be able to talk to? And they said, well, nobody, because that will be classified. So now they are in the process of allowing us to get security clearances for 2 more people in our IT department. So not only will I be able to know what's going on, I will be able to relay it to somebody who can actually reboot a computer if they have to. So anyway, again, thank you so much for all that you do for us. We really appreciate it, and I'm so happy to be up here and visit our friends that we only see about once a year. So thank you. God bless you.
Hey, thank you. Next off is State Controller Brandon Wolf, who is uncontested this year. He was unable to make it. Anyone here care to read a statement? Anyone here have a statement to read on his behalf? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to State Treasurer. We have, I don't see Julie Ellsworth here. Is there anyone who is here to read a statement on her behalf? Okay, how about Tom Keeley? Is he here, or anyone care to read a statement on his behalf? We'll move on to Vicki McIntyre, who is here.
Good evening, I'm Vicki McIntyre, and I'm going to kind of make this short because the night has gotten long. The State Treasurer's Office is all about money. It's all about cash flow. You need to balance your checkbook. You need to balance when your money comes in and when your money goes out. The State Treasurer does the same thing. The crazy thing is the Controller spends all the money. The Treasurer tries to make money. And if the Treasurer can make money, then it helps you by not having to pay taxes. So cash flow is the big thing, but remember, when do you pay your taxes? April 15th. Well, the state's tax year is July 1st to June 30th. So what happens? You run out of cash flow. So part of what the Treasurer does then is offer tax anticipation notes. So you have to know the market in order to know when to put that TAN out. And at the cheapest point, you want to make sure that the credit rating in the state is good, because that makes it the cheapest for all of you. Why do we need extra money for tax anticipation notes? Again, is we have people who invest in the state, the local government investment pool, and the diversified bond fund, and the Idaho Ideal 529 college fund. When those people want their money back after they've invested, of course, we have to have money to pay them back. So it's just nothing much more than cash flow. Currently, I'm the Ada County Treasurer, and I handle lots of money. It's given me 7 good years of experience to become very in-depth in investing money for the taxpayers of Ada County. I currently invest $220 million a year, and since I've taken office in 2011, I've earned for the citizens of Ada County $14 million in interest earnings. That's what I can do for the state. Again, those interest earnings go back into the general fund, which then keeps taxes from having to be paid. And you'll be glad to know that, of course, Idaho's revenue is on task right now to be about $300 million extra at the end of the year. That's money, again, hopefully that the state treasurer would invest wisely again for you to make more money for you. So I'm not going to take much of your time. You can learn more about me at idahovicki.com, and I'd appreciate your vote on May 15th. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Next office is Attorney General. Lawrence Wasden was unable to make it tonight. Anyone have a statement to read on his behalf? Okay, we'll move on. Superintendent of Public Instruction. First candidate is Jeff Dillon. Is he present, or does he have somebody here to read a statement on his behalf? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to Sherry Ybarra. And she was unable to make it tonight, but she does have someone who is here to read a statement on her behalf.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. Well, I wasn't her first choice. She called Dr. Bob Reynolds, and he wasn't able to make it, so he calls and says, Dr. Larson, are you able to do this tonight? And you'd never say no to your boss. So that's why I'm here. And I'm going to read from a statement because I want to represent her words well. And so it says at the top it takes 2 minutes. Good evening. Sorry I could not be there in person, but I want to say thank you so much for electing me to do a job that I absolutely love to do on behalf of Idaho's children. You know, our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, said it best. The essence of leadership is a vision. And as your Republican State Superintendent of Public Instruction, I came with a vision and a plan to support it. And that vision was and still is supporting schools and students to achieve. But it was Ronald Reagan that said, excellence in education begins in the classroom, with our local leaders, teachers, and parents, not in Washington, D.C., and our plan has done just that, built strong partnerships with districts, legislators, and stakeholders. We have begun to see some of the success of this vision and this plan, complete with strategic and measurable goals. Those goals, based on your feedback and concerns, were, and still are, improve speaking skills, writing skills, and problem-solving skills. Offer internet access and technology for all students. Adopt a mastery-based educational system, simply put, just personalized learning. Some examples of what this plan has done for us already. We've seen steady increases in our graduation rates. For example, some of our schools have a 100% graduation rate, like Clark County and Rockland. Others have over 97% graduation rate, like Westside, and there are many others. We put the internet contracts back into the local hands of the districts and save the state over $6 million. That's local control at its finest. When I first began, parents didn't always have a voice in the decisions that were made, so I established the first PAC, Parental Advisory Council. And they have helped me create the new safety initiative I just announced. The acronym is KISS, Keep Idaho Students Safe, which is a three-pronged approach to safety: training for teachers, a statewide crisis counselor, and a grant to offer a security presence to every school in Idaho. Local control, you decide if you want this. My fellow Republicans, these are just some of the successes we are experiencing in Idaho. I bring 20 years of experience in all facets of education, from classroom teacher to vice principal to principal, federal programs director, curriculum director, and now your state superintendent. Once again, thank you for electing me to do a job that I absolutely love and get to do on behalf of Idaho's children. I recognize, because of folks like you, it is a privilege and an honor to be Idaho's top advocate for education. Thank you for your support, and I ask that you vote for Sherry in the primary. And thank you for letting me be here tonight.
Next office, now we are to Legislative District 7. Next office is State Senator Carl Crabtree.
All right, well, thank you, James. And thank you to the people in this district who haven't been able to serve you for, well, I guess about almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in November. Quite an opportunity for a kid from Kuski. My voice isn't too good as I've talked too much today. But I was raised in a small town, or not even in town, halfway between a town of 801 and a town of 299. So it's a lot like this area. And as I bummed around the Silver Valley today and talked to some of you and others who couldn't make it tonight, I get a feeling these are the same kind of people that I was raised around. So I kind of got to thinking about this redistricting talk, you hear about, we need to redistrict. This district is 300 miles long. Well, it is. But you know, it's a natural resource-based economy. It's timber, agriculture, and mining. These people are very much the same. It's rural, not a lot of money, I don't want to say poor, but we're kind of the same kind of people through this entire district. And if you think about redistricting and hooking you folks up with Sandpoint or hooking you guys up with Coeur d'Alene, I'm not sure you guys have as much in common as you might with Orofino or Grangeville or Riggins. So I don't know. Chuck Malloy, who's from the Silver Valley, talked about this, and he kind of thought this is a bad district, but I kind of beg to disagree. I think it's a good district, and I'm proud to be able to represent you guys as your senator and try to be a common sense, accessible fellow. Maybe not the sharpest guy in town, but certainly a guy that you can talk to and visit with, and they can understand what we're seeing, the difference between what we see down there and what you see up here. So with that, I encourage you to look at the little flyer you've got on there. It's about me. It's pretty much right. There's one difference. It says I've been married 42 years, 44. So anyway, that's
Okay, next office is State Representative, position A. First candidate we'll hear from is Priscilla Gibbons.
Thank you. Great to be here tonight. I'll take the opportunity. I want to introduce my husband, Matt. Newly married, and then we left out on our honeymoon, and we have a future fighter pilot who will be born later this summer. So, I just wanted to not talk about me, but just to tell you a quick recap of the session. We're winding down. We're supposed to probably adjourn on Friday, but a lesson we learned from last year is that if the legislature adjourns, we do not have the opportunity to override a governor's veto. And that really hurt us in the grocery tax repeal. And so this year, the legislature decided that, hey, let's stay here for the 5 extra days and make sure that the governor signs every piece of legislation that we have been working our tails off. So we took a little bit of a long recess. We'll have a 3-day weekend. We will go back down to Boise and make sure that we get our job done, and then we will be returning back home to the district. Some big things to note. 1,600 pieces drafted legislation this year. 600 bills actually printed that we reviewed and considered through committee meetings. Of that, we spent over about $8.1 billion of your money. And that's just doubled in the last 10, 15 years. So we're going through a lot of money. A third of that actually comes from the federal government. So it gives you an idea of how much dependency we have on the federal government. This is the 4th year in a row that we have given schools an extra $100 million. And schools, right now the school fund is about 2/3 of our general fund money is going to our education system. And so that is such a huge priority. And I believe that everybody in the legislature agrees with that. And it's, I know, a #1 concern of Idahoans. And so it's good to be just supporting our schools. That was a big one. Some of the big things that didn't get through, Marcy's Law, which was a constitutional amendment to change the definition of victim in our Constitution. That was a close vote, but I'm sure you'll see it's a huge lobby. So you will continue to see information about that on Facebook and mailers. This is their 2nd year that they've tried, and I don't think they're going to stop until it passes. And so if you haven't already, I challenge you to get educated on Marcy's Law, because it's a significant topic that you may see on the ballot one day, and you'll need to be able to decide if you want to support it or not. The second big one is the Article 5 Constitutional Convention, and this is the 2nd year in a row that also failed to get through the House. There again, big lobby. I think they will be back, depending on which side of that you're on. I also encourage you to research and try to understand. It's a very complex issue, and we sat through hours trying to understand it and get all the perspectives. It's a very hot topic, but that one also failed to get through. Another big one that you should see here soon, but 21 new pages on trespassing laws. That's really going to affect hunters. That's going to affect property owners a lot, all throughout Idaho. So it has not yet been signed by the governor, but as soon as he does sign it, or whatever happens with that, just keep an eye open, because starting on July 1st, trespass laws are going to change completely. The amount that you could be fined is going to skyrocket. It's going to become a much bigger issue for us here in Idaho. So those are the big things. I enjoyed working a lot of pieces of legislation. I want to foot stomp the work that Jan has done. She's literally written 2, 3 bills, a resolution. She's working on another one. One of them that's really big for you guys up here and all of us, I mean our whole district, is trying to reopen some of these RS 2477 roads that are technically, they should be open to the public. And a lot of these federal agencies are coming in with their new travel management plans. They're closing them, and they should be state roads and stay open. And so Jan's been working really hard. Literally in 72 hours, she had 12 letters of support from recreational people all over the western United States. Because of her work as a president of the Women in Mining, I mean, she just put on a huge event the other night with hundreds of miners and interested groups. And so I love her passion, because that's what we need from Idahoans. I mean, we're a citizen legislature, but we are a state that we have to depend on the people like you to be educated and to get involved. And she called a bill drafter. She started working on a bill. We got it pretty far, and then we had a conservation group showed up and said, "Oh, we have an attorney's opinion that you should follow the federal laws on this." And we're going to armor up and re-attack next year, and I think we'll do it. So thank you, Jen, again for what you do for this.
On borrowed federal funds. We also still need to end Common Core, which is nothing more than an attempt to federalize our education and take our educational decisions away from our local elected officials and place them in the hands of faceless bureaucrats, which with little or no accountability to our parents and the taxpayers. I support, and my voting record is proof that I support every single one of these votes and more. Furthermore, we need to ensure that we have representation from all portions of our large district so that our local concerns may be heard in voice. I hope that you give me the opportunity to do so again. Thank you.
Now we're at State Representative District 7 position. Our first candidate is Phil Hart.
Well, I'm Phil Hart, and first of all, I want to thank you for all being here at 10 minutes to 9. And I'll try to be brief. I served in the legislature for 8 years, from 2004 to 2012. I made my living as a structural engineer, and one day I sat down and figured out how many problems an engineering student solve from the first calculus class to the final semester of your senior year, and it's about 10,000 problems. And what engineering teaches you how to solve problems. And there's problems in Congress legislators. And the legislature runs kind of like an entrepreneurial environment. They don't get done unless someone takes the issue and tries to get it done. So I'm going to talk about 3 bills that I worked on as a legislator. One is the Wolf Emergency Bill. I wish Lawrence was here, because if you look it up online, it's got his name. I authored the bill, and I authored it about 2 years before we ran it. And I was at the Lincoln in Orange County 1 year. Now, it was before dinner, and I was sitting at the table, I was kind of by myself. And right behind was the governor, and he was by himself. So we talked about 10 minutes. I said, I've got this Wolf Emergency Bill, but your staff doesn't like it, because I've talked to him about it half a dozen times. He goes, well, why don't you run it? And I go, okay, you're going to get it. So we put Lawrence's name on it, and he suspended the rules, and it went real fast through the system, and it got to his desk in a short period of time. And what the bill was going to do was give the governor the authority to declare an emergency, which would have taken the wolves off of the endangered species list and take control of the wolves away from the federal government. So when the federal government figured out this is what was going to happen, Congress passed a bill to delist the wolves, and so we didn't have the fight, because the state of Idaho would want to fight, and in the courts. And Congress even said, we're going to restrict the jurisdiction of the federal courts and not allow anybody to file a lawsuit on this issue. Well, lawsuits are dismissed the cases. And so what we did through a problem-solving approach, well, we found a way to take jurisdiction of the government and give it to the state. Another bill I worked on was a bill to create a silver medallion that the state treasurer would issue to the public and take that back for payment of taxes. And they required that the silver medallion be minted in Idaho. And there's only one place you can mint that, and that's at the Sunshine Mint in Coeur d'Alene. And it also would have cleaned up a big toxic dump between Government Gulch and the Bunker Hill mine that one of these days is going to start leaking into the groundwater. And that, had we got that bill done, I did get out of the House, but it failed in the Senate committee, we would have created about 800 jobs in the Silver Valley. So I think that's something that we need to do. And I'd like to see mining come back to the Silver Valley. And by the way, I am a MSHA licensed open pit miner myself. But anyways, and then the last bill I want to talk about, well actually there's two. There was a bill to create a transparent presence on the internet to show all of the financial transactions by, if you will, the state of Idaho's checkbook and put those online. And I worked with the controller on that, and I thought we had a deal, and I thought we had just the right bill, but somehow that didn't get through the House. It got to the floor, but didn't pass the House. So the next year, I brought back a smaller version of that bill to put the checkbook of all the school districts online. And that bill did get enacted in law. That was House Bill 699, I think in 2011. And somehow that bill died on the Senate floor on the last day of the session. And the president of the Senate, who's Brad Little, said, we're not going home until this bill passes. So somebody make a motion and have it brought back, which he did. And that bill got out of the Senate and was signed into law. And so the point I just want to make is, in the legislature, things don't happen unless somebody makes them happen. And I think I can serve this district well by being someone who's a problem solver. I probably authored about 40 pieces of legislation over the years, and a lot of those have gotten signed into law. And I think as the budgets grow and things get more complex, we need problem solvers down in Boise. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul Shepard couldn't make it tonight. Did anyone send a letter up on his behalf? Does anyone have a statement to read on his behalf? Okay, well, hearing none, I guess the next item on our agenda is our auction. Chuck, did you want to act as auctioneer again this year?
Gee, really? All right.
Twist his arm. Yeah.
This time I'm going to take my wheelie with me, though.
Throw down on the floor.
I got two of these. One of them they gave me, it was blue. I bought one, and look what color it is.
True Republican.
Where's all our goodies here? Where we put all our goodies?
They're over here.
In the corner. Over here.
You just gonna do it from there, or you want us to bring them up?
No, I'm all right here.
Okay.
Oh, got to turn some more, I guess.
Larry, get the checkbook. Oh, sorry.
I don't believe it. This is an autographed book by Abraham Lincoln. No, I'm sorry, I didn't. I think this was brought by Mr. Leroy. Did you do that, Dave? Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start this off, and it's a good book. Well, it's not the best book, but it's a good book. The best book of mine is about that thick and about yay big, and says Holy Bible. This one is going up right now for $15. Do I hear a bid? 15. Come on, raise your hand. $15. I have $15 back over in the corner. Do I have $17? $17. $17. $17 back over there. Do I have $20? $20 right there. 20.
What's the title of the book?
That's my wife. $20. $20. I have $22. $22. $22. The Senator Crabtree says $22. Do I have $25? $25. $25? $25? $25. Once, twice, three times, it's yours. Thank you, sir. Who's going to handle it? Do I have a secretary here? Linda, you going to be secretary?
Oh, sure.
I don't know, is this what the secretary has? This is my job description.
That way you get to collect the money too.
Shady.
What do we got? This is benchmark night. I think this comes from one of the senators. Crapo, usually. Senator Crapo? Usually. Oh, what? From Senator Crapo.
All right, I'll hold it open. I'm not going to open it because I'm dangerous with knives.
It's a good night.
Yes, it is. I'm looking at it. I have several good knives like this, and this is a good one. All right, we'll start this one off at $20. $20 for a bench knife brought down by Senator Crapo.
I brought it.
You have?
I brought it.
You brought it for Crapo?
I brought it. It's a $150 bench-made bone collector. It's a hunting knife, and it's a one-of-kind. They only made about 50 of those. That's number 15.
All right, we're gonna boost that up a little bit. This is a $150 knife. Now I know a lot of people don't like knives because, my goodness, they might hurt somebody. Well, so does a fork. I'm gonna start this one off at $25. $25. I have $25. $30. $30. So I have $40. $40. I have $50. We're going up high.
I said 50.
You'll say 50?
I did say 50.
50 is all. I have $50. Do I hear 55? Do I have 55? Do I hear 55? $50 once, twice, sold again.
Start that one a little higher. We got it good. This is from Senator Ridge. That's a Christmas tree one. Yeah, I know. We go pretty good.
I have a Christmas tree ornament from Senator Ridge with an autographed card. I'm going to start this one at $15. $15. Do I hear $15? Christmas tree ornament. Come on, folks, we need the money. $15 here. Do I have 20? $20. $20. $20. Do I have 25? $25. Do I have $25? Do I have $25? $20 once, twice, sold. You bought this? Right. I don't believe it. I don't know who wrote this down, but it's got. Bill Bass, Jim Rick, Dick Kim Thorne, and Butch Autograph.
Yeah.
Thank you.
4 of our illustrious leaders from down in Boise autographed this copy of the Constitution, both the state and the Fed, with the Declaration of Independence. Now, some of them you might not like. I like all of them. I'm not going to bid because I'm the auctioneer and my wife's taking care of the bid. But I'm going to start this one off at $25 because of the 4 names that's on there. $25. Do I have $25? $25. $25. All right, I'll bring it down to $20. $20. Do I have $20? $20?
Started at 10.
All right, $10. We hear $10. Well, I'm buying it for $10 then. Honey, write another check. I go.
I don't remember who brought the scarf.
Whoa, that's pretty. All right, we have a medallion scarf. I'm going to start it off at $7. $7. Do I have $7? $7. $7.
$7 over here. We got one over here.
Okay. Do I have 10? $10. If not, you're going to have to let $10. Do I have 12? $12. $12. Yep, $12 in the back. $15. $15. We're here for $15. $15. All right, now you're going to 15. $15. All right, we have $20. $20. Anybody? $20. $20. So you're going to have to listen to me read this. The Capitol has been growing in size and complexity since it first opened in 1800. The interior and exterior ornament, do I hear 20? Has been executed on many hands, yet some themes are constant. This represents our Capitol. That looks like that's on right on the United States Senate. That's a medallion scarf representing the United States Senate. What was the last bid? $20.
This is made exclusively for the United States Senate.
Do I have 25? Do I hear 25? 20 once? Twice? Both. And you come to the fur-lined block there. I haven't had a chance to read this because it just came out not too long ago. I know the author. I met her when she first ran for this office up here. And she came up and she said, I'm an A-10 pilot. I said, get out of here. She said, no, I'm an A-10 pilot. Yeah, come on. I flew in the Navy. Has anybody seen one of those things operate?
They don't fly in the Navy.
I wouldn't fly in that thing for all the money in the world. And she climbs in it and fights it. But nevertheless, this is a book by Priscilla. I'm going to start it off at $10. Do I hear $10? $10 for the book? I have $10. Do I have $12? I have 12. Do I have $15? $15. 15. Do I have $17? $17. 17. Do I have 20? $20. $20. 17 it. 17 once. Twice. Sold. Did you get my little book here? Sure.
Autographed it? No.
I'm going to say that one to last. Oh, look at here. Wow. You know, I looked at one of these, Krista.
You what?
I looked at one of these.
Oh, yeah?
Over a 416.
Yeah.
It was about 25 yards away.
Really?
Yep.
That would have been cool.
No. It was a video though, it was really coming at me. I have a beautiful thing put up by Christy here. It's a water buffalo.
Signature of the
If you don't, no, I'm not looking at that end, I'm looking at this end up here. That's the end can hurt. I'm going to start off at $10. $10 for the buffalo from Christy. I have $10 in the corner. Do I have 12? $12? $12. $12. Nobody? Sold. To Shannon. You got it for 10. We'll give it. Come on, I'm seeing you.
save that one.
Okay.
This one's got a couple of stories. This.
All right, I'm going to turn this one over to Mark.
This book is called Hard Truths. It was written by an Idaho author who was a special operations guy in Vietnam. 18 short read chapters on leadership. How I wished I would have read this book 40 years ago. It would have saved me a lot of problems in my life. You got a grandchild, somebody like that, this is a great gift, short read, and will teach them a lot about life. And it comes with a little elephant. A little elephant is part of a collection that a mother who passed away from one of our county commissioners in Twin Falls. She had collected these elephants forever. She was a good Republican, and he didn't know what to do with the collection, so I bought it. And I told him that I would sell all these elephants at all of Lincoln Days all around the state, so we would spread out her wealth. So here's an elephant and a darn good read for someone in your family.
Okay, we're going to start off with $15 for the two. Do I have 15? I have 15, 17. Do I have 17? Oh boy, are you guys dead? I'm leaving. Come on. 17 bucks. 17, I have all kinds of. 18, 18, 18, I have 20. Do I have 20? $20 right there. 25. $25. Elephant in the book. Do you get it, my friend?
And it's, by the way, it's signed by the author, too.
Yeah, it is. 25 bucks. 25. Do I have 27? $27. Elephant, 27. All right, we're going to go 30. $30. $30. 27 once, twice, 3 times sold. Thank you. Wow. Yes, it is. Most of the people here don't know what a peeler or an apple peeler is. You're doing it with a paring knife and one of those paring. These things work great. You put the apple in there, you turn the handle, and it takes all that peel right off of it. The reason I don't peel them is because I even wouldn't peel them on. And then I suffer for the next 3 days. You ever try and pass a peel? Hey, I'm on the scoreboard. Don't worry about this stuff. You bust the handle, I know where it goes. It comes with a cookbook and a pie plate.
This is a special Labrador gift. This is a Labrador family cookbook, and I believe the pie plate does have the Labrador.
Working on it.
This is really pretty special.
Yeah, those pie peelers, those apple core peelers or something else.
Yeah.
I'm going to start that off at $30. $30. Come on, 30 bucks. 30 bucks for the whole kit. Thank you very much. I have 30. Do I have 35? $35. I have 35. Thank you, Patricia. Do I have 40? $40. $40 for all 3 pieces. I held up 40. There's 30. 40.
Who did that?
Did you say 40, Andrew? Oh, you did. 45. We have $45. One time for 45.
Just so you know, this went for $1,700 last night in Coeur d'Alene.
What?
That's the difference in the cost of living between there and here. $1,700.
This is a special pie plate.
Okay, we'll start off 1,800. No. 45. Do I hear 45?
45.
45. Do I hear 50? Do I hear 50? Do I hear 50? $50. Went for $1,800 over, or $1,700 over Coeur d'Alene. We're not quite that good over here. It came with a pie though. All right, we have 45 once, twice, 3 times. So, thank you very much.
Good job.
I'll donate $100 toward that gift, even though she got it. It's just my donation.
To us? All right, you people. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We have anything else? Marv, you want to be off? No. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, well that concludes our program. Thank you everybody for coming. As a closing statement, I would like to say this. We have a number of contested primaries for a number of offices. Often when we have a number of open seats or contested primaries, often they can get contentious. However, we need to realize that we are all Republicans. I think it's important to remember the preamble to our Idaho State Republican platform. We are Republicans because we believe the strength of our nation lies with our faith and reliance on God, our Creator, the individual and the family, and that each person's dignity, freedom, ability, and responsibility must be honored. We believe the United States Constitution is the greatest and most inspired document to govern a nation, and the Republican form of government it gives us is the best guarantor of freedom in history. We believe in equal rights, equal justice, and equal opportunity for all, regardless of race, creed, sex, age, or disability. We believe free enterprise and encouraging individual initiative have brought this nation and state opportunity, economic growth, and prosperity. We believe government must practice fiscal responsibility and that taxpayers should allow the government only the money necessary to provide appropriate functions. We believe that our founding fathers gave us a government that is a servant of the people, not our master, and the proper role of government is to provide for the people only those critical functions that cannot be performed by individuals or private organizations. We believe the most effective, responsible, and responsive government is government closest to the people, and the sovereignty of the state must be protected. The government is best that governs least. We believe Idahoans must protect the principles and values that have made us strong. We believe Idahoans value and should preserve our national and state strength and pride while working to promote peace, freedom, and human rights throughout the world. We believe that the rights of individuals can only be maintained by exercising personal responsibility for our behavior. And we believe that the Republican Party is the best vehicle for translating these ideals into positive and successful principles of government. That is our platform, and I think I can sincerely believe that everybody in this room believes in these values. And so on May 16th, remember, even though we'll have come through a tough primary season, this is what brings us together, and we must remember to stay together, united as Republicans, through November. Thank you.
And please, folks, this you stay awake.
Do you have a business card?
Yeah. Pardon me?
Business card?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. And you said you would have no problem doing a live stream interview, right? Okay. You're live on Redoubt News. I appreciate you coming in tonight.
Yeah,
thank you.
Very much.
So, this is the young lady here.
So young, thank you. Representative Priscilla Giddings. So I'm the current representative for District 7, and they asked me just to share a few more words on the bill that we were working on this last session that got stalled, but I think we'll be able to work on it during the interim and then bring it back next year. So for those of you that know how to go online, you go to the legislative website and you can look up, it's House Bill 637, and it has to do with rights of way. So do a little historical background. It's a little bit of a complex issue, but back in 1866 when they started settling the West, Congress passed a law allowing rights of way across the land for the public to use. And then those lands or those roads were allowed to be used by the public up until it was in 1976, the Federal Land Policy Management Act, FLPMA, a lot of people refer to it. And in FLPMA it said that those roads, any new roads could not be used by the public, but those previous old roads could, and those old roads were called RS 2477 roads. And so the bill that we were working on is that the states actually have a lot of authority over how those roads are used and if the public is allowed access to them. And some federal agencies such as the Forest Service are slowly closing down those historic roads with their new travel management plans, but technically they're not really allowed to. And so our bill was really focusing in on how the authority rests with the state, and that actually the counties have the authority to keep those historic RS 2477 roads open for public access. And so we had a print hearing, we were ready to push forward with the bill, and then a conservation group in Idaho got a lawyer's opinion on the issue, saying that we need to focus and kind of let the federal government do what they're going to do. And I don't agree with that. And so we're going to get some really, let's say, some smart lawyers who have worked on these types of laws in other states across the West, and look at the language and find a happy medium so that we can make sure to get some of these roads that should be open, get them back open, because it's a states' rights issue. So
well, it's also a constitutional issue.
Absolutely.
They don't have the right to close down roads for citizens.
So we are live with Priscilla Giddings.
Great. Thank you very much, guys.
I had people asking, so.
Well, thank you for taking the time.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you guys for being here, and thank you, Redoubt. We really appreciate your support and getting the truth out there to citizens
Absolutely.
across Idaho and north. So,
And this is your husband?
It is my husband.
And what was your name?
It's Matt.
Matt, pleasure to meet you.
Good. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
That was Priscilla Giddings speaking. How are you?
Good, thanks. Did you
Good.
have a good time?
Very good.
Were you entertained?
Entertained. Good to see you here.